What's going on, everybody? It's Coach Holley, the Askarian Knight, back with another episode of Overcoming Pain and Adversity, the Ep.8 way. In our last episode, we broke down the psychology of self-mastery and why mastering your inner world is more important than mastering your outer goals. We talked about triggers, patterns, identity, and why you cannot rise to the version of you that you never disciplined. But today, we're taking it to the next step. Because once you understand your patterns and once you understand your internal identity, there's a higher level skill that separates people who keep rising from people who keep relapsing. Now let's talk about emotional switching, which is the ability you have to change your internal state on command. Most people don't lose because they're talent. They lose because they stay stuck too long in the wrong emotion. Frustration turns into spiral, disappointment turns into shutdown, anger turns into reaction, and that anxiety turns into avoidance. While disciplined people, they switch gears, switch the room, switch the identity, and keep moving forward. Here's a misunderstanding about emotions. Most people think emotional discipline means you never feel anything. They think being strong means being numb. They think maturity means being unshakable. But here's the truth. Emotions aren't the problem. Attachment is. Feeling is normal. Staying stuck is optional. Emotional switching doesn't mean you avoid your emotions. It means you don't arrest your progress. You can be upset and still be focused. You can be tired and still be disciplined. You can be triggered and still be strategic. Remember, the goal is not to stop feeling. The goal is to stop spiraling. Here's the law of emotional switching. It says this: you may not choose what you feel, but you choose who you become after you feel it. Most people don't understand this. They let 10 seconds of emotion create 10 hours of consequences. They let one trigger take their whole day hostage. They let one setback pull them back into the old identity. But winners, they switch state before the spiral starts. Winners switch forward, warriors switch backwards. Winners switch into logic, identity, presence, leadership, and discipline. While warriors switch into overthinking, ego, panic, avoidance, and old patterns. Which identity do you switch into when pressure hits? Here's the 3 levels of emotional switching. Number 1, direction awareness, meaning where you are emotionally. Most people don't know what state they're in until the damage is already done. Awareness gives you the power to intercept the spiral before it becomes a setback. So in other words, you cannot shift what you never acknowledged. Number 2, pattern interruption, meaning the emotional momentum. This is where you as a leader take the wheel. So that could be a deep breath, a pause, a grounding ritual, a mental command, a physical shift, or a reality check question. Pattern interruption is the moment you break the emotional autopilot. So remember, one pause can save you from 10 mistakes. And number 3, identity switch, meaning who do you choose to become right now? This is the highest form of emotional discipline. Here you switch from reaction to response, emotion to execution, fear to focus, ego to leadership, and chaos to clarity. This is where your identity becomes the driver and your emotions become the passengers. I want you to remember that your emotions don't need permission to show up, but they do need leadership to stay in check. Here's the reality most people avoid. You're not losing because you are weak. You're losing because you keep switching into the wrong version of yourself. You switch into the version that panics, shuts down, overreacts, and doubts. But the version of you that leads, always stays calm, always stays strategic, that is a version that rarely gets activated on purpose. So what you need to do is stop switching into the old version of you every time life gets hard. I say this because there was a season in my life where my first reaction was my worst reaction. I felt something and I let it speak for me. I got triggered and I let it lead me. I got overwhelmed and I let it steer my decisions. But when I learned emotional switching, everything shifted. My peace upgraded, my decision making sharpened, my presence stabilized, my leadership elevated. When I learned to switch the state, I stopped losing battles I should have won. Keep in mind that when you switch your emotional state, you change your entire story. Here's the truth most people run from. Your emotions may not be your fault, but your emotional direction is your responsibility. You are either switching forward or switching backward. You're either leading your emotions or living underneath them. So with that being said, here's my 7-day emotional switching challenge for you. Number 1, identify one emotional trigger real time. Number 2, use a 5-second pattern interruption. Number 3, ask yourself, what identity do I need to choose right now? Number 4, choose discipline over reaction 1 time per day. Number 5, journal, what state did I switch into today? Number 6, practice one grounding ritual, so it could be breathing, silence, a walk, a workout. And number 7, do one thing that your future self will thank you for. I got a quote for you guys, and it goes like this. Emotional switching is not about control, it's about direction. So with that being said, thank you guys for watching episode number 8 of Overcoming Pain and Adversity, the AMP Way. And if you're ready for episode number 9, we're breaking down a principle every leader struggles with, and that is the discipline of internal boundaries. So how to protect your mind, your identity, and your peace from emotional drainers and silent distractions. So with that being said, stay tuned for what's coming up next, because you definitely don't want to miss it. And as I always say, you keep watching, and I'm going to keep cranking. I'll see you guys on the next one.